Plaintiff Molly Gardner says she met the defendant at a flophouse where they would go to get drunk and smoke pot, and they eventually started dating. Molly claims she and the defendant drank so often that he would sell his plasma just to get money for booze. Molly's suing her ex for the balance due on a car. Defendant Nathan Recker admits that he and Molly liked to drink and smoke pot, but he insists he had a job and was able to afford their lifestyle. Nathan claims he only owes Molly for half of the car.
All right, give me some background.
Nathan and I met around February in 2011. I'm not very proud of it, but we met. It was kind of a flop house where he was living. It was a place where, a safe place to go to get drunk and get messed up. And
He was living there.
He was living there, but it was somewhere that I went regularly to hang out.
And do what?
Drink, smoke pot.
You didn't have your own place?
Well, it was a mutual friend that we had, so it was somewhere
They couldn't
safe
come
we
over
could
to
go.
your house?
Well, no, because I live with my mother.
Oh, okay. All right. They didn't have a place? Your friends didn't have a place?
Well, yeah, that's where I went, and that's where I met him.
The only place these friends that drank and smoked pot, which you had, was the flop house?
Kind of, yeah.
How many friends did you smoke pot and drink
Well,
with?
people were in and out.
I know, how many?
At a time?
No, period. This is what you said. You said, me and my friends would go to the flop house and smoke pot and drink. So just tell me how many friends, typically?
Three.
Three.
Roughly three.
None of the three had a place?
Correct.
Okay, well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
All right. I need to save that weed money
I know.
for apartment.
Well,
Save it all three of you all get together, pitch in, and you'll have enough for rent.
you're right.
You all can
You're
sit
not
there
wrong.
and get drunk and high all day.
You're not wrong.
And leave room for the flop house for the others who can't come up
Right.
with rent. Y'all ain't the only one that want to be at the flop house.
Right.
Go ahead.
I understand.
So you met him at the flop
I met
house?
at the flop house. I thought he was super cute and he was very charming. And I even had a friend there another friend that lived there, that we had a mutual friend. And he even told me, don't date Nathan. He's a moocher. He's gonna screw you over. And I was having so much fun with him. And he was the cute and tall and whatever. So
Did you work?
We started dating.
Did you work?
Do I work?
Yes.
Yes, I was working. The job that I had at the time, I was working 40 hours in 3 days.
Okay.
So I was working full time, but I always had a 4-day weekend.
It wasn't enough for you to afford rent.
I'm really close with my mother, so that's why I lived with her.
Okay.
I could
Because
have moved
all
out.
these things are coming up because he owes you $4,000.
Right,
You either had the credit or the money to
Right.
give him $4,000.
right.
And to get $4,000 or the credit enough to get $4,000, typically you have to work.
Right. I was
All right.
working.
So all that was kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Go
about
ahead.
that. Well, I worked.
You met him.
I met
at
him.
the
Life
flop.
was a party. We were drinking a lot together, and then it kind of got to the point where we kind of migrated away from those friends, but we're still drinking a lot, like maybe a half gallon every day.
Where?
This time we moved to I kind of brought him into my mother's house, and and drinking's legal. I drank.
Mm-hmm.
We drank a lot.
Did you still smoke your weed in your mother's?
No.
Some kids do.
It was getting to the point where he was donating plasma to have enough money for booze for us to drink.
No, that's crack, baby. I know
Well,
that.
yeah, I know, isn't it?
I don't know who you kidding. That's a crack habit. I've seen it 1,000 times. Let me hear from you, sir. She's telling me some
Drinking.
fantastic stories here. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So we started dating in around February of 2011, like you said. We got along well. We drank, we smoked pot a lot. We spent nights in bed with nothing but a fit than our naked bodies. we did.
But
what
were
young
you all
people do.
alcoholics? You didn't do it every day, all day, right?
Well, not every day, all day.
So you have much
We
fun
were
as you want.
alcoholics.
But you didn't have a job, did you?
And when we first met, I did not have a job. I did later end up taking a class, learned some Linux, got a job as a Linux system administrator at a large web hosting company.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So after a while, we ended up moving in together, got our own place. we ended up getting a trailer that we lived in. And I was able to pay for the trailer, all our bills, and afford our lifestyle that we had. You know, we were still smoking, still drinking, still having a good time. So that's where we ended up getting the car. And what happened with the car was she co-signed on it to help me get it.
Let me allow her to tell me. That's what you're suing about, obviously, the balance on the car. Tell me about that. You co-signed?
Yeah, I had great credit, and I co-signed for the car for the agreement that he would make the payments because he was working at the time. He lost his job in November of 2013 and was able to apply for unemployment, and so he was still paying bills and still making payments on the car, or so I thought, because when he lost his job, we lost our trailer and moved back to my mother's house, and it was a July morning. Like I said, I worked 40 hours in 3 days. She's kicking my bed at noon saying, hey, someone's outside taking Nathan's car, and I run out there in my underwear. And what are you doing?
That's a good way to run them off.
What are you doing? I had no.
Go ahead.
What are you doing? I had no idea that he had stopped making payments.
Okay. They did take the car out.
And they took the car. The repo guy was really nice.
Okay.
He let me.
Did you have to pay it off?
That's what's going on. The bank took the car. They sold the car.
And the balance
and then
is
the balance,
$4,001?
And now they're going to sue me because when I co-signed
for
for it.
$4,001?
Right.
Okay.
When I co-signed for it, they put my name on it.
I know what co-sign means.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, sir. She said that she co-signed for a car, and that means you are first responsible for it. And if you fail to pay, she is responsible for it, and then she may sue you. So what's your defense today?
Well, when we co-signed for the car, I was ready to just get like a cheap $1,000 junker, drive it to work and back. But she convinced me, you know, you got this good tech job, why don't you just go ahead and get a nice car that you can depend on for a while? My response was, well, I have a hard time keeping a job in general.
No.
So why would I want to get these payments for years when I don't have any guarantee of having this job? She said, we'll deal with that when the time comes. And so we ended up getting this car that she helped co-sign for.
And today we're dealing with it.
And today we're dealing with it.
All right. Do you have any defense?
Well, really, I don't think I should owe for any of the car. If anything, half of it, she co-signed with it knowing that she may have to make these payments. She knew I didn't have a job. She knew that my unemployment had finished. And
Did you understand the document you were signing held you 100% responsible, not one half?
Absolutely. I understood that that's what the document
So
stated.
what makes you now believe you can change it to one half?
Well, when she made the statement, we'll deal with it when the time comes, I was under the impression, hey.
Half?
I didn't even say that.
Hold on.
I was under the
meant
impression.
half?
I was under the impression she could at least make payments until I got another job,
Half
so
of
the
the
car wouldn't get
payment.
repossessed.
Half? I'm wondering where you get this half.
There's two of us, and I divided it in two.
Okay, she didn't
I have
agree
my
to that,
own car
though,
that
did
I'm
she?
making payments
Not
on.
in the contract for the car, but
Right.
when she stated, hey, when the time comes, if you lose your job,
Yeah, you
we'll deal with it.
interpreted that
I
as
interpreted
half.
that as, hey,
Okay,
I'll at
did
least
he
make payments.
misinterpret it?
Yeah.
All right, so this is how contracts operate. You stick with the contract that you have made unless you both agree to a new contract. If there's confusion about the new contract, meaning you all can't come together on what she meant, then you live by the first contract. So I'm going to conclude, as she said, there was no new contract. And I'm going to bind you to the initial contract, which requires you to pay should she be held responsible for the car you agreed to pay. $4,001 is your judgment. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Don't co-sign for anything for anybody unless you have the money to lose.
Don't ever trust anyone for their word. They're always going to go back to the written handwriting.